What up, y'all? This is your boy, Mr. Downtown Ray Mello, and you're listening to the Entertainment Report for Wednesday, September 24th, 2014, delivering some of the major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello. That's RAYMELO. Or on Twitter at The Enter Report. You can also listen to The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello on iHeartRadio. All you have to do is just type in on the search engine The Entertainment Report, and we'll take you to the iHeartRadio page of the program. Once again, another ESPN anchor is in hot water. ESPN suspended sports columnist and on-air personality Bill Simmons for 3 weeks following a profanity-laced rant against NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell in the Tuesday edition of his regular BS Report podcast. ESPN said in a statement, "Every employee must be accountable to ESPN, and those engaged in our editorial operations must also operate within ESPN's journalistic standards. We have worked hard to ensure that our recent NFL coverage has met this criteria. Bill Simmons did not meet those obligations in a recent podcast, and as a result, we have suspended him for 3 weeks." According to a person with knowledge of the situation, Simmons was suspended more for his insubordination and challenging his employer than for his foul language or criticism of Commissioner Goodell. The person went on to say that while ESPN's podcast standards may be less rigid than its printed and TV standards, Simmons still violated them. Simmons and his representatives have not immediately responded to the rap's request for comment. CBS's long-running reality show Big Brother has been renewed for its 17th and 18th season, which will air in summers 2015 and 2016, the network said on Wednesday. The current season will air its 90-minute finale Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. following the season premiere of Survivor. A reliable ratings grabber and in recent years a controversy generator for CBS, Big Brother has averaged a 2.7 rating /09 share in its current season, a 4% uptick over its previous edition, and 7.56 million total viewers, a 2% increase over the previous season. CBS Executive Vice President, Alternative Programming Director Chris Castano said, "Big Brother continues to be one of the most summer's most dominant programs, and with each season, Allison and Rich produce the most twisted ways to evolve the series creatively." He also adds that with its one-of-a-kind format coupled with its passionate, socially engaged fan base, no other show comes close to duplicating it. The after show, Big Brother After Dark, has also been renewed for another season, which will launch next year on Pop, which is currently known as TVGN. NBC has decided that Saturday Night Live will celebrate season 40 with airings of iconic episodes during prime time. NBC will run old iconic episodes of the sketch comedy show as the lead-in programming for season 40's live episodes, which begin airing September 27th on a Saturday. Guardians of the Galaxy star Chris Pratt is set to host that first show with musical guest Ariana Grande, which airs after a Richard Pryor hosted SNL Vintage lead-in episode from the series' inaugural 1975 season. The next SNL Vintage episode, airing October 4th, comes from the show's 25th season. Christopher Walken is the episode's host, and Christina Aguilera is the musical guest. Sarah Silverman and Maroon 5 will star in the live episode later that night. As the Wrap reported exclusively, Dumb and Dumber 2 star Jim Carrey will also host a season 40 episode, likely sometime around the movie's November 14th premiere. Saturday Night Live, which has won 45 Emmys over its long and storied history, is a production of Broadway Video in association with SNL Studios. Lorne Michaels is the creator and executive producer. Saturday Night Live will return for its 40th season premiere on Saturday, September 27th at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on NBC. A grand jury has determined that racer Tony Stewart will not face charges in the death of fellow driver Kevin Ward Jr. Michael Tandilio, Ontario County District Attorney, said in a news conference on Wednesday, quote, "After listening to and questioning all of the witnesses and reviewing all of the evidence, the grand jury has determined that there is no basis to charge Tony Stewart with any crimes. His case was no bail by the grand jury." Stewart released a statement in response on Wednesday, calling the ordeal the toughest and most emotional experience of my life. The investigation yielded testimony from approximately 24 witnesses, including a number of racers and Trace employees. Photos and videotape of the incident were reviewed. Tantalita also said that Ward was under the influence of marijuana during the race, with enough in his system to impair judgment. NASCAR said in a statement today, "There are no winners in tragedy. Our thoughts and prayers remain with the Kevin Ward Jr. family and Tony Stewart as they all cope with this tragic incident at Canandaigua Motorsports Park." Brew Jexer, the Pro Driving League's chief communications officer, continued, "This has been a difficult time for everyone involved, and we have respected the local authorities responsible for reviewing this case." Stewart's car struck and killed Ward Jr. during a Lucas Oil's Super Sprint featured dirt track race at Canandaigua Motorsports Park in Canandaigua, New York on August 9th when Ward got out of his car and walked across the hot track, appearing to gesture and yell at the oncoming Stewart. A lap earlier, Stewart's car had nudged and spun out Ward's car. In announcing the decision to include a grand jury last week, Tandilio said, "Over the past several weeks, I've reviewed with members of the Ontario County Sheriff's Department their investigation as it progressed in the Tony Stewart matter. I have made the determination that it would be appropriate to submit the evidence to a grand jury for their determination as to what action should be taken in this matter." Stewart, a three-time NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion, promised his full cooperation with the investigation last week. He said, quote, "I respect the time and effort spent by both the Ontario County District Attorney and the Sheriff's Office in investigating this tragic accident," he said. "I look forward to this process being completed, and I will continue to provide my full cooperation." Stewart, who's 43, has returned to racing after a self-imposed 3-week hiatus. The collision happened after Ward, who was 20, lost control mid-air, got out of his car, and was standing on the dirt track. Ontario County Sheriff Philip Pavero said in a statement shortly after the collision, "As Ward stood on the track, two cars approached him. The first car swerved to avoid the driver on the track. The second car, operated by Tony Stewart, struck the driver." The sheriff's statement continued. Mike the Situation Sorrentino has a legal situation on his hands. Sorrentino, who rose to fame under the Gnome reality TV Situation on MTV's Jersey Shore, has been indicted on tax charges, U.S. Attorney Paul Fishman said Wednesday. Sorrentino and his brother manager Mark Sorrentino are accused of failing to properly pay taxes on $8.9 million in income that the reality star raked in from promotional activities. Both Sorrentinos are charged with one count of conspiracy to defraud the United States. In addition, Mark Sorrentino is charged with 3 counts of filing false tax returns for 2010 through 2012, while Mike Sorrentino faces 2 counts of the same charge, along with an additional count of failing to file a tax return for 2011. A spokeswoman for Mike Sorrentino has not yet responded to the rap's request for comment. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, the Sorrentinos submitted or caused to be submitted false documents understating the gross receipts received by the brothers in their 2 companies, MPS Entertainment, LLC, and SituationNation.Inc. The pair all are also accused of submitting false tax returns that failed to report all of their income. According to Jonathan D. Larson, acting special agent in charge of the IRS criminal investigation, he said, "Most individuals file truthful tax returns and pay their fair share of taxes. However, as alleged in today's indictment, rather than living in a reality and reporting their true income, Michael Sorrentino and his brother Mark created the illusion that they earned less income by filing false and fraudulent tax returns." He also added, "No matter what your occupation or status in life is, if you attempt to cheat on your taxes for personal financial gain, you face real consequences, including criminal prosecution and a possible prison sentence." The Sorrentinos were released on a $250,000 bond on Tuesday and are expected to be arraigned in the Newark federal court on October 6th. The brothers, along with other family members, currently star on the TVGN's reality show, The Sorrentinos. Model Amber Rose has filed for divorce from husband of 1 year rapper Wiz Khalifa, and she's gunning for full custody of their child, TMZ has learned. In the divorce documents obtained by TMZ, Amber says they're split on Monday and cited irreconcilable differences. Amber is asking for full legal and physical custody of their 1-year-old son, Sebastian. She's willing to give up Wiz's visitation. And this is interesting. Amber acknowledges there's a prenup, which you would think would work in Wiz's favor, but she says it's valid. Presumably she's not challenging it. The documents say the prenup provides spousal support. As for why they split, there's been a buzz over the last few days of infidelity, but there's no mention of it in the papers, including there's rumor has it that Amber Rose has been seeing the host of America's Got Talent, Nick Cannon. TMZ got a video of Amber with some guy Tuesday in Beverly Hills. Um, One of the paparazzis asked if Wiz is keeping a close eye on Nick Cannon. There are rumors that they've hooked up, but she's mum. Sources connected with the couple says the split is bitter. Yusuf Islam, the singer-songwriter formerly known as Cat Stevens, joined Pearl Jam, Tom Waits, and Metallica in trying to subvert the multi-billion-dollar ticket scalping business Tuesday, abruptly canceling his first New York City show in 35 years due to, quote, extortionate tickets prices already being listed on some websites, as he wrote in his official website. He said, I've been a long-time supporter of paperless tickets to my shows worldwide and avoiding scalpers. Islam wrote in his note announcing a new December 4th show at Tower Theater in Philadelphia instead. The original New York date, December 7th, at the Beacon Theater, will now take place at Boston's City Performing Arts Center. Many artists in recent years have switched to paperless ticketing, forcing fans to show identification at the box office. This process is generally reliable in staving off scalpers, brokers, and subverting the resale marketplace. However, New York passed a state law in 2010 requiring tickets to be transportable. Technically, the law does not ban paperless tickets, as Islam stated in his note. High-demand artists have been grappling with the multi-billion-dollar tickets reselling market for the past decade, as scalping has evolved from street corner sales to major corporations such as eBay-owned StubHub. Some top artists have in recent years attempted to boost their prices to compete with scalpers, allowing them to be resold via Ticketmaster's TM Plus or creating high-priced VIP packages. Others, from Waits to LCD Sound System, do everything they can to prevent tickets from landing in brokers' hands. In his note, Islam apologized for the change and criticized New York's resale law for, quote, enabling tickets to be bought and sold at inflated prices. On his Facebook page, Islam also linked to a 1974 interview in which he said of scalping, I was so angry that at one point I seriously considered buying the tickets off of the scalpers and redistributing them to my loyal fans. On ABC's The View Wednesday, Rosie O'Donnell expressed her deep displeasure with America's ongoing airstrike in Syria. O'Donnell said, even though it doesn't say it on the news, we went to war yesterday in America against another country in the Middle East. And to me, no matter what, that's wrong because you don't fight violence with violence. The political discussion from the talk show host came after American forces began bombing targets where terrorist group ISIS was suspected to be on Tuesday. The offensive came on the heels of President Barack Obama's announcement last week that the U.S. will widen its efforts against ISIS. Nicolle Wallace said on Wednesday's show, we now have two presidents in a row who agree on nothing. Yet both of them think the threat to our country is so dire that they've done the exact same thing, 12 years apart. O'Donnell, a longtime denouncer of former President George W. Bush, did not disagree with Wallace. O'Donnell said, I can't get it out of my head the fact that Syria has a lot of oil. A lot of oil, not a lot of oil in Rwanda or the Congo. Atrocities there are all the time, she added. However, Whoopi Goldberg questioned O'Donnell's rationality, saying, I don't think anybody goes to war gleefully. O'Donnell contended, I don't think it's gleefully, but I do believe there's a financial agenda attached to it. Wallace, who was a White House staff member during George Bush's presidency, refuted O'Donnell's statement. Wallace argued, this is historic. There are 5 Arab nations standing by our side as part of this coalition fighting this war with us. There's no comfort in a time of war. It's horrible, it's terrifying, but that's a very good development. And finally tonight, legendary Australian rockers and rock and roll Hall of Famers AC/DC has confirmed Malcolm Young, the rhythm guitarist, has officially retired from the band as they revealed their new record, Rock or Bust, that will be released on November 28th. The 15th studio record from the enduring band will be their first without Malcolm in their 40-year career. AC/DC announced earlier this year that the founding rhythm guitarist and founder of the band was, quote, taking a break from the band due to ill health. While frontman Brian Johnston later revealed Malcolm had been hospitalized, the nature of his illness has remained undisclosed, and the band have made a pact not to discuss it. As AC/DC gears up to unleash their first new tunes in 6 years, they stated Malcolm would not be touring or recording with them in the future. They said in a statement issued by their labels Alberts and Sony Music Australia, unfortunately, due to the nature of Malcolm's illness, he will not be rejoining the band. The band also confirmed that they will embark on a world tour in honor of Rock or Bust and their 40-year anniversary, with Angus and Malcolm Young's nephew, Steve, joining as guitarists. He also played on the 11 tracks recorded in 10 days at the Warehouse Studio in Vancouver and produced by Brendan O'Brien. Rock or Bust is the follow-up to their hugely successful 2008 album Black Ice, which sold 8 million copies worldwide and debuted at number 1 in 31 countries. While launching his debut solo album last month, drummer Phil Rudd dismissed rumors that AC/DC had considered calling it a day in the wake of Malcolm's ill health. Rudd said, "Angus Young will never retire. We will never going to retire. It will never happen. Angus will never retire. And as long as Angus never retires, I won't effing retire either." Rudd said Angus took on the songwriting duties solos in his brother's absence, and next year's tour details were yet to be finalized. Rudd said, "I get a call a month before they need me. We've done some long, hard tours. It's not easy." He also adds, "You do it for 18 months, you're walking dead when you're finished, especially as you get older, but everything's great in the band. We're ready to fire up on all cylinders again." And that is your entertainment report for Wednesday, September 24th, 2014. I'm your host, Mr. Downtown Ray Mello. I'll be back tomorrow delivering some of the major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello. That's RAYMELO, or on Twitter @The Enter Report. You can listen to this episode and previous episodes of The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello on iHeartRadio. Just search for The Entertainment Report, and it will take you to the iHeart page for the show. I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.